Uh-oh, did you relapse with porn? I'm gonna walk you through step by step what to do after porn relapse. When somebody relapses with porn, what they usually do is feel horrible and then recommit to not do that behavior again. They want to try extra hard to not have it happen again. Now, I've worked with porn addiction for over a decade. I've seen guys go through this cycle over and over again. That doesn't work. That's not going to stop the behavior long term, but something will, and I'm going to show you what that is. It's helpful to understand how a relapse works in order to understand what to do about relapse after it happens. So quickly, I'm going to go over what's called the addiction cycle. Now, if you're relapsing with pornography, then you're going through this cycle over and over again. This is what happens. First, there's a trigger. A trigger can be anything. It could be stress at work. It could be you saw something that triggered you, a smell. It could be anything. That trigger leads to what's called preoccupation. Now, what preoccupation does is it's preparing your mind for the relapse. You start thinking about things. You start thinking about your last relapse. You start thinking about ways that you could kind of set up acting out again, ways that you could put yourself in dangerous situations. After preoccupation comes rituals. Rituals are the behaviors that set up the acting out behavior. So your rituals could be things like closing blinds, going to certain websites that aren't really pornographic, but they're websites that you know will lead you there, hitting certain things on social media that will take you down certain paths. Those are rituals. Now, once you're ritualizing, your chances of relapse are very high. You're now engaging in behaviors that are setting up the relapse. It's really hard to stop relapse at this point. Next comes relapse. Comes that moment of escape, of bliss, that moment when you feel really, really good because you get all of those chemicals, you get all the dopamine, the adrenaline, you feel amazing because in that moment, you get to escape everything. And all of this stuff sets that up because you so badly want that escape. You so badly want to get out of your current situation. Now think about it. After relapse, what happens? Now it's probably changed over time for you. Maybe you felt a lot of guilt and a lot of shame in the past. Maybe now you're quite apathetic and you don't care anymore. You've done it so many times. But what it does lead to, eventually, is despair. You feel shame, you feel despair, you feel hopeless. You don't feel good. And after you relapse over and over again, you compound that despair and you keep feeling that. That's not a very good feeling. And so you know what that leads to? It leads to preoccupation. It leads to eventually wanting to numb your life out again because you're not happy with your life. This is why addiction is so hard to overcome because it feeds and fuels itself. The more you act out, the more likely you are to relapse again. So it's really important to know what to do after a relapse because you can actually break out of this cycle right after a relapse. You guys, I joke with my friends that I'm in the porn industry. Now, what I mean by that is I've treated pornography addiction for a long, long time. I understand everything about it. So I have a lot of videos that are helpful for porn addiction. So if this is helpful, then please go subscribe to my channel. All right, I'm gonna walk you through the specific things that will be helpful to get you out of this cycle after relapse. So the first thing is get out of hiding. Get out of the dark. When you relapse, bring it to the light. Own it, deal with it, face it, get accountable, talk to somebody. Now that's the last thing that you want to do because the shame and the despair is going to say, hide what you did. You're bad and unworthy. But when you come out of hiding and you talk about it, it takes the power away from that shame. The next thing to do is to practice self-compassion. Self-compassion is key. Shame will say, you're disgusting, you're bad, you can never overcome this. Self-compassion will say, you made a mistake, but you're still valuable, you're still of worth, you're still okay. You can learn from this mistake, you can grow, you're still good. The next one can be very, very difficult, but it's helpful because it gets you out of this cycle. Face consequences. If you avoid consequences, then you're avoiding the learning that you get from the relapse. So facing the consequences helps you deal with it. And once you've dealt with those consequences, it's not lingering. If you stay in hiding, if you stay in secrecy, if you never face those consequences, there's a ripple effect. You'll disconnect in your relationships. You won't want people to get close to you. And it will have all kinds of unwanted consequences. Avoiding the consequences actually will cause you some suffering. Next, this one's very important. I want you to practice some self-compassion. Now I know you're thinking that I'm repeating myself. I am. You need self-compassion over and over and over again through this process. Remind yourself that you're still of worth, you're still of value, even though you made a mistake. Lastly, I want you to gain some learning, some growth from the relapse. There's a huge opportunity when you relapse. I want you to get maximum return from that mistake that you made. Evaluate it. Take an autopsy of what happened. What was your triggers? What do you struggle with? What danger zones can you not get too close to, and why? What are other ways that you can cope with difficult emotions and difficult things that come up in your life? And what inputs do you need to shift in your life so that you aren't so triggered? There's so much to learn from your relapse. Take advantage of it. Grow from it. If you don't grow from it, then you'll fall right back into those same traps again. Thanks for watching, guys. What to do after relapse is one small piece to the puzzle. If you liked this video, check out my other video, How to Get Rid of Pornography Addiction. Thanks for watching.